Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 29th of October 2018. So welcome everyone, welcome to this Monday's morning session, where we're gonna have a look at the markets, what happened with them last week, what to expect from them this week. So yeah guys, we're gonna have a look at a few charts. I hope you all are refreshed and ready for this week. So yep, but before we start looking at the charts, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay guys, so let's not waste any more of our time and let's jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on is the FTSE 100. Now the FTSE, last week I was talking about this one and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this little support area here around the 6870 zone, now which was marked here by the lows of the 26th of March. So that was the lowest point of March, and it becomes quite an important area here that we're going to be watching still. And last week you saw this one, or should I say more on Friday to be more specific, we saw this one traveling all the way here to test this 6870. It actually broke it at one point, but then the bulls managed to quickly push it back above here, and to be honest quite far away from it. So we managed to get back above the 6900 level, and we're now trading around here. Well, actually the index closed near the 6940 zone. So what we're going to do here right now is, especially for today and this coming week, we're going to keep an eye on this psychological 7000 level, because a nice good break above that could potentially lead towards the next good area of resistance at around 7110. And as you can see here, I've got this highlighted here, because if we get a nice break above this, then yep, I mean this could potentially be a nice, very good confirmation for further acceleration here to the upside. I mean, we could see this one potentially traveling here towards the 7190 or slightly above that, the 7220 zone. So keep your eyes on that one. Certainly we do have the this upside support line that was broken a while ago now, so you could in a way keep your eyes on that one as well, because this could potentially get tested if these two levels here, these two resistance levels, are not going to hold. But yep, for now we're gonna just be very careful here, because it's a bit too early to talk about these higher levels here. But for now what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep a close eye on the 7000 here, the psychological 7000 level, because a nice good break above this could potentially lead towards a test of the 7110 zone. So for now, just like I said, be very cautious. And again, it would be good to see maybe a bit of correction here back to the upside after having such a huge slide here. So yeah guys, I mean for now be very cautious. At the same time, keep on monitoring the 6870 zone, a nice good break here, and eventually a close on a daily candle here, and below the 6870 zone could potentially lead this one towards this next good area of support at around 6675 zone. Now this area here was marked here by the lows of the 3rd of November here 2016, so about 2 years ago now. So quite an important level to watch, unless of course this index really wants to continue falling down here and to be honest make a nice good test after 2 years, exactly after 2 years, to have a test of the same level now. So I mean, keep your eyes on that one, but for us to kind of confirm that, we would probably need to see a good break below this 6870 zone, or should I probably reiterate that, a close below that level here, the 6870. Let's jump into Brent. So Brent is stuck here at a very interesting spot. So at the same time, from the longer term perspective, it's continues to climb higher. It's still on the upside here, trading above this long-term upside support line taken from the lows of June 2017. As you can see, it kind of managed to rebound here from this, just slightly above that line here. We do have this quite important area of support at around 75.60. Managed to rebound from it and pushed higher last week, but actually got held here by this short-term downside resistance line. So in a way, you could call it a tentative one, but as you can see, it acted nicely here, and the commodities now is trading near $77.45 mark. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to be very cautious, see how it behaves around this short-term downside resistance line. If we get a nice pop here, that's great, that's wonderful. We could then aim for a possible test of the 78.70 zone, approximately there, marked by the near the lows of the 18th of October. But for probably a better confirmation, we'll probably keep monitoring this little level right here, just slightly above the psychological 80 zone, so the 80.15. Now this could potentially be that possible gateway for this commodity, maybe to travel back up here towards the highs that we saw around mid-October, or even it could possibly move towards the highs that we saw in the beginning of October. Now, of course, for all this, I mean, for such a scenario, for us to see such a scenario, we would need to get, well, not only a nice good break here above this short-term downside resistance line, but also a nice good move initially above the 78.70. But for better confirmation, we would probably keep an eye on the on the 80.15. Now, on the downside here, we could continue monitoring the upside support line here. And of course, we're going to keep a close eye on this little level right here as well, the 75.60 now. But for us to get comfortable with the downside, I mean, we would need to see a nice good break here initially below the this upside support line, and then seeing this one traveling a little bit lower here towards the 73.90 area, approximately there. It could also almost coincide with the with this 200 EMA shown here is the black line, and this potentially, if we start seeing breaks here below this, and then below this a move below the 200 EMA, now this could turn out to be ugly for the Brent, and we could see this one sliding even further, where the next potential area of support could be seen near the 70.35 zone, so which was marked here by the lows that we saw in August. So the lowest, basically the lowest points of August. So, and yep, we could start seeing a test of that. But of course for this downside scenario, we need to have a few rules confirmed, or a few rules completed here before we can assume a further slide. And the first one is going to be the break below this area here at around 73.90, and of course the 200 EMA that I've got here shown as the black line. So that's in regards to the downside on the Brent. So yep, keep your eyes on this area for now, because this is kind of in a way going to be our neutral area. Jumping into euro dollar, so the euro dollar is continues, of course, to travel lower. So on Friday, of course, we did have a nice move back up here, a bit of retracement here done by the bulls, and for now, certainly the overall picture still kind of looks, in a way, it doesn't look very, let's say, positive. But to be honest, I mean, it has slid. It has slid already, like, for quite a lot, and in a way we could maybe potentially see a bit of correction to the upside. If, let's say, this pair wants to continue traveling lower, then yep, we could see maybe a bit of correction to the upside, and then a move back down again. On the downside, as you can see here, we do have this quite important area of support at around around the 113 zone. This in a way becomes somewhat like a psychological one, but Still, it's a nice good number here. The 113 zone, that was marked here by the lowest point of August that we had this year. So in a way, this still is the level that we're keeping an eye on. But to be honest, jumping into a 4-hour chart on this one, this is where we're going to have a look at. So in a way, we're still trading below this short-term, maybe something like a tentative downside resistance line taken from the 16th of October, as you can see right now, the pair is in a way building up a formation here, is like curving up here a little bit, and we could potentially see a nice push higher here, a little bit higher, of course, towards the 114.30 zone potentially, of course, or maybe slightly above that, where we could test the downside resistance line. Now, that said, of course, if this line continues to hold, we could see this could be a nice good opportunity for the bears to step in, because then they could, you know, take advantage of the higher rate and push this one back down again, where we could then start testing the 113 level. Of course, for the 113, for us to see the 113, we would need to see a nice good break and a close below the 113.55 zone, approximately there. So for now, of course, be very careful, be very cautious. At the moment, judging by this, what we're seeing here on the 4-hour chart, it seems that it wants to make a bit of a push here to the upside, but again, the upside could be limited initially, of course, but if it starts to break this downside resistance line, then, well, keep your eyes on the 114.95 zone, approximately there. Now, that was marked here by the highs that we saw around the 23rd of October, and in a way, this could be our point where we could then start maybe aiming for slightly higher levels here. Initially, of course, aiming for the 115.50 zone, or slightly above that, the 115.75, marked by the highs that we saw around the 17th of October. But for that, we would need to get this nice good break above this little level right here. Let me just quickly mark that for future reference, and that's approximately around the 114.95 zone. Or if you want it to be more on the safe side, you could round it up towards the 115 zone. But for now, judging by this, because until we're still kind of trading below this downside resistance line, we're kind of gonna keep being bearish a little bit. But from actually looking at this point right now, we're gonna be very, let's say, cautiously bearish. Jumping into GBPUSD, similar story here, still below this short-term downside resistance line, taken from the peak of the 16th of October. Certainly we could see, and as you can see by the little arrow here that I've got, we could see in a way a push here higher a little bit, maybe a test of this area here around the 128.65, which was marked here by the lows of the 24th of October. We could in a way test that, or just slightly above that, we could test this short-term downside resistance line. Now, that said, until it kind of or as should I say, as long as it remains intact, we could see something like this. I mean, the bears could take advantage also of the higher rate here, and we could see this one maybe traveling back down towards the 127.85, marked by the lows of the this little level here, this day, I would say the 127.85 was the low of the 5th of September here. So something like this could be possible. Certainly, like I said, it is quite oversold. We could see maybe a bit of a correction here to the upside where this line could hold, and if it does hold, yep, like I said, the bears could push this one back down again, and we could aim for lower levels, because as you can see here, slightly on the bigger picture, we're still trading below this upside support line that was broken last week, and this upside support line has been running here since around the 15th of August this year, and of course, if this gets broken, if this downside resistance line gets broken, of course we could see maybe this one traveling a little bit higher, maybe even actually towards this a test of this upside support line from underneath, from which it could roll over back down again, and we could see GBP moving lower. So of course, this is just a scenario, this is just an idea. You be the judge, you be your own judge, but like I said, something like this could be possible. But like I said, for us to kind of consider the upside, of course we're going to keep an eye on the on this downside resistance line, but also we're going to keep a close eye on this level right here at around 129.20 zone. because this could potentially open the path toward these higher levels. Jumping into USDCAD, now this is an interesting one, and for this one I need to jump into a daily chart, so you can see that we're still kind of trading below this downside resistance line, this kind of short-term downside resistance, or should I say more broader medium-term downside resistance line, taken from the highest point of June this year. And basically last week we had a nice pop here to the upside. It seemed that it was strong, and it seemed that it wants to continue pushing higher, but you can see that the bears kind of took control in the second half of the day, and they've managed to push this one back down here towards this area here below this downside resistance line. And now we're kind of this has opened here as well, I mean slightly below this downside resistance line. So in a way this kind of makes us a little bit cautious about the upside. If of course we get another break here and then we get a nice close on the daily candle above the 130 zone, approximately there, of course, now this is where it could become interesting for the bulls again, and we could see this one traveling higher a little bit, maybe towards the 132.10, or just slightly above that. We do have the 132.30 area approximately there, and of course if these two don't hold, then yep, it could continue traveling further. But for now guys, probably would recommend to stay a bit more to the cautious side and see how this behaves. But for now it doesn't kind of really look very promising, I would probably say that way. But from the very short-term perspective, for us to get more comfortable with the downside on the from the short-term perspective, of course, we would need to get this night break here below the 130.55, or you can actually put it here as 60. So the 130.60 area, this is the one we're going to keep an eye on, keep close eye on, of course. A nice good break below that could send this one a little bit lower towards these levels, the 130.12 or even the 129.66 zone. So now, for now, keep your eyes on that one. Keep your eyes on the 130 zone and on the 130.60 on the downside. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, and that's USDJPY. Looking at the daily chart, we're still below this this kind of short-term upside support line, or now it kind of in a way becomes more of a medium term maybe. So but looking at that one, basically you can see that last week the pair managed to break it to the downside. Of course it was trading all around here, but this is the level we're still keeping a close eye on, and this is the 111.65 zone now. Or if to be more on the safe side, you could actually maybe drag it a little bit lower now to put it as 111.60. now a nice good break, confirmation break here below this level could potentially open the path towards the 111.10 area, which was marked here by the lows of the 12th of September, or even lower. But for now, we're gonna remain cautious on this one, because as you can see, kind of it's trading a little bit in an undecisive manner here, and it doesn't know what it wants right now. So what we're going to keep an eye on is, like I said, on the downside, we're going to keep an eye on this 111.60 zone. A nice good close on the daily candle here below that could potentially open the path towards lower levels. But from the upside, if this gets back above the upside support line, this medium-term upside support line, we're still going to keep an eye on the 112.45 area, approximately there. But to be honest, we're gonna probably here take a more cautious approach and wait until this gets above the 112.90, and only then we're gonna get more comfortable with the upside here, where we're gonna aim for these higher levels, like the 113.30 or 50. Okay guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and I do apologize I went a little bit longer than usual. But if you want to join me later on in my Traders Tea Time, and that's 13:15 GMT, 14:15 British Summer Time. For now, thank you very much, and bye-bye.